Welcome back. This is Wealth Principle 41. Create an environment that will force you to grow. This is one of the most powerful wealth principles. And I know I say that every single week, but I mean it this time. I mean that this wealth principle is a life-changing wealth principle. Hands to the camera if you were at my house last night and have seen now what my environment looks like. Excellent. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody in the Alchemist community. The mentorship program, the graduates, you guys make this so worth it. It's so much fun being able to work with you, to work together to build our 100 millionaires. And as I was hanging out with everybody last night, I dawned on me, I'm teaching the lesson today that talks about environment. And everybody was in my environment and got to see that it's a little different from the average house. Who noticed something different in my house that you wouldn't see in a normal house? Go ahead and we'll give some volunteers. What was things that you saw that were different that you wouldn't see in somebody else's house? Go ahead, Andrew.
He had whiteboards with goals and your vision boards up like throughout the house, not just like in one little tiny corner with no lighting or anything. Like you had them prominent throughout the house.
And to add to that, there are 14 whiteboards in my house. And yes, they are prominent. They're 5x7 whiteboards. In fact, I've got two behind me right there. And the whiteboards are representative of thoughts and ideas. Melissa, what was something else you saw?
Mad books and prop money.
Mad books. Do you know how many books there are in the house?
I do not. I did take a picture of your bookshelf on the main floor though, so I have all of the books that I need for a while.
So there's about 250 physical books in the house, but obviously I've read over 300, and a lot of them are an Audible. I just never ended up purchasing the book because I wasn't a fan of it or I didn't fall in love with it. Sometimes I don't actually physically read them. Sometimes I listen to Audible 2 or 3 times, but I'll buy the book because anytime I see it, it triggers something from the book. It's an anchor and a trigger. So it becomes more powerful in my environment. When I'm looking for a certain feeling, I look across the bookshelf, I find that feeling, and I think about it for a moment, and it's sitting back there. Does that make sense? Environmental change. It's very powerful. So last night, I got to spend time with people who have been working with us over the past year as we've developed the mentorship program, as we've brought people in who want to be bigger, badder entrepreneurs, people who want to make more money. Hands to the camera if you want to make more money this year. Yes? Excellent. What I love about this community, hands to the camera if you want to do less work this year. Absolutely. So we want to do more money-taking activities, and we want to do less time-wasting activities, which means our environment has to be more powerful. There are 52 weeks to wealth. There are 52 millionaire wealth principles to becoming rich and happy. And these 52 wealth principles are taught over the 52 weeks. I've spread them out over 52 weeks because each principle takes about a week to implement. You got to go change things in your life. You got to take it seriously. You got to take a store of knowledge. And in many cases, you got to go adjust not just your business, but your personal life as well. And so each week we tackle one principle. If you think that you can, go ahead and go to walterandrollo.com and go to the 52 wealth principles section and try to do all of them in a week. It's impossible. But if you tackle one at a time thoroughly throughout the year, because remember, this is not about getting rich overnight. We all agree if you want to double your income, you have to take a whole year to double your income. In most cases, yes, if you don't take the full year, you are the exception. God bless you. You're the unicorn. That's okay. We like unicorns. We want more of you to be more exceptional. But it takes about a year to double your income from last year. You've got systems to change. You've got an increase of volume to do. Maybe a new product you've got to sell. And the same thing with your net worth. To double your net worth, so say your net worth last year was $10,000. To get it to 20, for some of you may say that's no big deal. But say your net worth is like mine right now, which is 2.4 million. To get it to almost 5 million, that seems like a little bit of work. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. Yes? So that journey is the same amount of effort as going 10 to 20. If 10's the max you've ever had, going from 10 to 20 seems like a big deal. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody on there know they've ever been under $10,000 net worth? Yes? At some point in your life, maybe. So at that point, thinking about getting 20 looked hard. Now you look back and it seems easy. we'll look at how do you get to a net worth of 10 million, right? If you've ever done a million, then now you're looking at 2 million or 4 million or 6 million. Those numbers seem impossible for anybody under that. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. Excellent. Excellent. This just seems like work. It seems like it'd be difficult. Well, here's the deal. Give yourself a year, follow the 52 wealth principles, and you can do it. And then next year you do it again. This program is not about the superstars, the less than 1% who can go from making 100,000 a year to $1 million a year. This is designed for people who want to go and have a strategic approach that will work. And in order to do that, you've got to follow the systems. When I was, who here's heard me speak before? Actually, Doreen, you can bring everybody in now. Let's bring everybody into the room. I think there's 63 participants here on Zoom, and on Facebook, we have a couple more. Bring everybody in. I'm going to tell a little bit of story about me. If you've never heard me before, this is going to be valuable. If you have heard about me before, I promise I'll add something new. That fair? Excellent. So when I started with this epiphany that my environment was fucked up, that something wasn't right, I was broke. I didn't have the money that I wanted. My situation wasn't enjoyable. I couldn't do things that I wanted to do. And I found that every day I felt I didn't have enough time. I felt like the people around me didn't support me. I felt like every day I felt everything I was doing was wasting time. Like time just was slipping away. Who here has said before, I don't have enough time? I just don't have enough time. There's not enough time in a day. Who here has heard it before? There's not enough time in a day. They don't have time to do things. Yes. What I discovered is that's not reality. Reality is that you always have more than enough time for the things that are important to you. And what made that so clear to me was one day I was sitting there and I was writing down how I can reach out to 300 people each month. And my coach at the time was telling me, yeah, you just do 5 a day. And after 5 a day, 5 times a week, you're going to hit 25 every week. And that'll get you to, I think it was 100 people. So now if you do 15 a day, is it hard to do 15 phone calls a day? Hands to the camera thing, you can do 15 phone calls a day. It wouldn't break you, right? So he says, if you do 15 phone calls a day, that gets you 300 people at the end of the month. And suddenly I realized that I was inefficient because I didn't have a priority. I didn't see the value to what I was doing. I was broke because all I did was ungauged, unscaled, uninformed activity. Who's done something before that didn't really pay them, but you felt pretty fucking busy? Like you worked pretty hard, but you didn't get paid. Yes. So that's what I'm talking about, is that inefficient action. And it's all over the place. And there's this one space that's super, super dangerous for you. And I will give you an example and a way to get out of it at the end of this call. But before I get into the nitty gritty of it, I've got to get you to understand how important your environment is. There are 3 places where your environment is super, super powerful. 3 places, and one of them I guarantee you don't think of, but is the most dangerous of them all. 3 places that are your environment that are super, super powerful. You have 3 phases of your day. And you might want to start writing this down because this is information that's really valuable. People in the mentorship have heard me talk about some of this before. Phase number 1, you sleep. I like to start my day off in bed. That's where I start every day, every week. Hands to the camera if you have ever started your day off in bed. Yes? Excellent. So the night before, you had 8 hours of hopefully restful sleep. That's time. That's time that you can utilize to create an environment that builds you overnight. We use hypnotherapy in our house. We listen to affirmations overnight while we're sleeping so that our subconscious mind is working. Mike Shine does it as well. And so at night, this is one place where most people completely waste it. Don't even think about it. It's not even an option. Until today, did you think about that space? Did you think that nighttime was useless? Yes. Going forward, we know that nighttime is valuable. It's a place to put your mind to work. Excellent. There's another one. You've got 8 hours, some of you more, some of you less, 8 hours of work. And 8 hours of work, you should be doing income producing activities. But instead, you may be doing MWOs, minimum wage activities, MWAs, minimum wage activities instead of income producing activities. Is this making sense? Has anybody ever done a minimum wage activity? Or would you like some examples? Cutting the grass, vacuuming, washing dishes, folding laundry. How about cold calling, writing up letters? These are things you can pay somebody to do, yes? And what could you pay them? Likely right around minimum wage, maybe 15 bucks an hour. And so for the people who are still cold calling and writing up letters, that's okay. There's a place for it. It makes sense. If money's tight, you got to go back to MWAs. But the idea is to shift out of that as quickly as possible. Does that make sense? You learn it, you do it, and then you teach it. So you learn it, do it, teach it. Wealth principle 41, create an environment that will force you to grow. Create an environment that'll force you to grow. There's a book of the week. Mike Shine's going to talk about that in a little bit. If you know that environment, number one is your bedtime, 8 hours spent there. And then environment number two is your work time, 8 hours spent there. Environment number three is what I like to call cell phone time. Does this make sense? Cell phone time, computer time, TV time. Who knows how much time they spend? Who thinks that they spend more than an hour every day on their cell phone or in front of a computer that is entertainment or TV? Yes. 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Check your phone logs. I guarantee you it's more. 4 hours a day. Yes. So this is the reality today. If our environment is also this, then what you see when you turn it on should be something that moves you forward. Let me show you, well, let me see. No more, fuck these notifications. Clear, clear, clear. By the way, I get a bunch of notifications every time somebody signs up for our website. So every time I log in, you see what this says? It tells me what to do. Build a fan base, build an email list, follow up with the list, make content to sell, promote content, tour far and wide, sell merch on tour. I wake up every single day after having a mindset through the night, and then I jump into my grind, which is my work, the things that I enjoy doing, which typically will be podcasts with people. And then I open one of my phones, and the other phone, what does it tell me? I can, I will, I am. Is that making sense? Now, if when you open your phone, you got a picture of your family, you got a picture of things that make you happy, perfect, awesome. That's what belongs there. That's good. It depends on what you're looking for in your life, what your goals are. When you open your phone, you get a little deeper into it now. And if you can see that, there are apps on your phone. This is your environment. This is your digital environment. The first things you see are the things you're going to react to. Does that make sense? Now, my phone will be different from your phone because I am a social media guru. My job is marketing. And so I do have all the fun apps right on the front of my phone because my first job, so this is my work phone. My job when I get up is create content, create content, create content, create content. Screen number two is more work. These are other apps that I use on this phone. On this phone, this environment is completely different. When we open this one, it's a different form of work. This making sense? We got Dropbox on there, Audible's always on there, Fiverr's on there, Google, Gmail, Business Suite, WhatsApp. This is human communication that is not related to social media. Is this making sense? If your business is different than mine, then you'll have different apps on your phone. But there are no toy apps, no games, no distractions on the front screen. The front screens, which you see every single day, get rid of distractions. My phone should look different from your phone. Social media should not be the first thing on your phone. Social media is my job. I put content out, I create, I teach, I educate. This is my medium, this is my forum. For everybody else, social media belongs on your second page. Your second page belongs looking like my first page of my other phone. Does that make sense? For you, social media is a product you consume. For me, social media is a product I sell. So I want to be very clear when I talk about the environment. So on your main screen, there should be no distractions. There should be nothing that will take you away from an environment of production. On the main screen, this is a space you spend 4 of your most entertaining, most powerful moments of the day. The things that you enjoy, the things that inspire you, that's the time that you do the most. So if you're laughing in a place of joy and you're looking at that phone, well, then that's what you're going to want to do more of. Does that make sense? The dopamine hit, the constant fun of it. So if you can transfer, make that front page something that's productive, something you enjoy, something that moves you forward in your business, you can make a massive change. Does that make sense? For me, I used to run my calendar on my front page. My calendar's still there, but for the most part, I look at my calendar one time a day. I know my day, and then I'm gone, I'm running. So it's an environment that you have to start getting control over. The environment at nighttime. I'll go back. So 3 environments. You got your digital environment, you got your workspace, you've got your sleeping space, and then your digital environment ties a little bit in with your house. Everybody mentioned whiteboards, and nobody mentioned all the money I have around my house. Nobody mentioned all the stacks of cash. But if you go around my house, there's about $500,000 in fake money and prop money sitting around the house. And that $500,000 is representative of the cash that I have in the bank, the cash that I'm acquiring, accumulating. Because for me, I've always moved cash. I've gotten it back into investments. Who here has always invested, reinvested, moved their money quickly? Yes. Maybe in good assets, some maybe not in so good assets, right? So $500,000 in cash is something I want to manifest. So that's something now I'm looking at because I love the idea of getting to a cash position. And so around my environment, I create cash. A new addition is gold. I've been acquiring silver, I've been acquiring gold lately. Well, I'm about to start acquiring gold. I'm speaking to the future after Steve's conversation last night. And so we're putting those things out into our environment, things that you want more of. Make it so you can see it. The whiteboards are a way for me to visualize, a way for you to visualize the things that you want to create in your life. Who knows that they want more in their life? You want more than you have right now. Yes? In any other room, you'd be called selfish. You'd be called greedy. They would say, oh, what are you doing? You should just be happy with what you have. Now, don't get me wrong. You should, could, would be happy with what you have if it's what you wanted, if it's what you truly wanted. But I think that you're capable of more. And people who are capable of more have a hard time settling for less. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's okay. They'll call you crazy. They'll call you greedy. They'll call you a workaholic. You work too much. I've been called that often. But I don't see it as work. And I don't think that when you get lined up with the right activities, the right role, you're adding value in the right way for you, I don't think you're going to see it as work either. Because ultimately you enjoy every moment of what you're doing. I absolutely love these moments. When this was brought to me, I told the story last night. When the idea of doing a weekly call every single week was brought to me, I said, hell no, no way. I don't work on schedules. I don't do that. I just do whatever I want, whenever I want. Does that make sense? I just said, dude, I run my own schedule. I'm not doing that. And then it was presented that it would be really valuable for the community. Maybe just do it one time, see how it goes, see what people think. So I can already feel the anxiety of that moment. So going back to when this started, but what it created was an environment where I had to produce new content every single week. It created an environment where I got to spend time with motivated people. And the more time I spend with you, the more I realize what we're doing is really, really important. And instead of going to a success event one time a year for 3 days, we go to a success event 52 times a year, once a week. It gives you an unfair advantage over the people who get pumped up, all excited, motivated, Tony Robbins, let's go, Grant Cardone, 10X. And then they come back home and for like 2 or 3 weeks, they're pumped, but then they start to get crushed by the world. Well, here we found a way to motivate not just you, but me as well. I found that this chore, this responsibility I had of showing up and committing to something every single week had created an environment where I am so fired up afterwards that I'm unstoppable. I do more deals, I take more action, I take on more partners, we do much bigger activities. Does that make sense? The people you're around are part of your environment. The mindset that you put yourself in is part of your environment. And if your community, your environment encourages you to keep growing, you will keep growing. You can't stop it. You can't help yourself but want to be more. And that's where the 52 weeks to wealth really comes into play, is everybody's reading the books. Only in this environment. Go outside of this community, you will not meet a person who's read 52 books. Does that make sense? Unless you talk to CEOs of companies, it's really hard to find somebody who's read 52 books, let alone is doing it in a year. Right, I know. Mike Shine's like, what about me? What do I do it? So Mike, before I continue into more of this, by the way, is this valuable so far? We're getting an idea of how our environment works. After Mike presents the book, I want you to go and we're going to do an exercise on the things that you can do to change your environment today, to take action now to make you more successful, because successful people take action on the things that they know are going to change their lives and improve their lives. Mike Shine, book of the week. Let's bring it out.
All right. The book of the week is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And for me, this is the book that started it all. Brenda and I were just sitting on the couch watching TV, doing nothing. And my friend recommended this book, The Miracle Morning. And I'm not going to tell you Hal Elrod's backstory because it's too much fun to read about. Definitely read about it. But he created these things he called life savers. And savers is an acronym for silence, which is prayer, meditation, or gratitude, affirmations, visualization, E for exercise, R for reading, and S for scribing, because if you put the word writing, it would have been saver, and that wouldn't have worked. So savor is, and basically, he got up an hour earlier and did 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of affirmations, 5 minutes of visualization, 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of meditation, and that adds up to an hour. And if you want to supercharge your life, and this just totally changed my life completely. I recommend the first one, typical books, then they put out another one and another one and another one, but this is the original Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Amazing backstory, and it gets you, I think for 40 years, I wasn't focused at my mornings, what I was doing. And then I read this, and it gets you focused on where you want to go every single morning. I can't recommend this book more highly. This is, like I said, this is the one that started it all and transformed my life. So this is great. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. That book is so powerful. It is in many ways the right book for you if you haven't started reading books, if you haven't gotten into this concept, then it can be the right book for you to read right up front, just because it gets you going into these perfect habits, these savers.
Exactly.
If you're more active in the things that improve your life, you'll have an improved life. If you do more things, if your environment becomes more conducive to doing things that improve your life, you'll have a more improved life. Does that make sense? Changing your environment is necessary. You must change your environment. For some of you, who here is a member of the mentorship program, paid the $1,000, jumped in, kicked butt, read all the books, is still crushing it, graduated, been a part of it? Yes?
Yeah.
Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are amazing. You changed your environment. You took yourself out of a situation where everything else was in control, and many of you were doing very good already, but you put yourself into a situation where these are the habits. These are the things we do. This is what works. This is how we operate. This is how you build $1 million. And it's changed, and I see it in each one of you. It's changed the way you look at things. It's changed the way you communicate. It's changed the amount of money that's coming into your life for the better, improving your decisions in investment, improving your decisions with money, improving your decisions in real estate, because now you understand what it's all about. It's not the fluff stuff. It's not the stuff that you see on TV. It's not the stuff that you see on the news. right? We don't talk about the election in this community because that doesn't pay us. Does that make sense? Like, we may goof around, but at the end of the day, nobody's ever gotten paid by a president. Hence, well, maybe a few of you. I didn't get paid because I make too much money. So, but fortunately, many people did get paid, and I've collected it through some of my businesses. My tenants got paid, some of the students got paid. So we found ways to collect the money from the government. So again, let's give our wonderful government a round of applause for all that quantitative easing that allows all of my hard assets to go up in value. But unfortunately, the inflation is crushing normal people, which is just so sad, because at the end of the day, it's the normal people who voted in, right? They say, give me money from the government. Every dollar the government prints widens the wealth gap. Every dollar the government prints widens that wealth gap, makes the rich richer, and the poor poorer. And so it crushes the middle class. So every time that people get free money from the government, I cry a little bit on the inside. Now, that's because I care about those people. As an investor, every time the government goes out and hands out the money, I have the other side of me that says, well, I'm getting richer today. I guess that's what happens because the government's decided to destroy the value of the dollar and increase the value of all my hard assets: gold, silver, real estate, Bitcoin, stock market assets. This makes sense? Yeah. So no matter what president gets in, I still get rich. We agree that there's a way for you to do that as well. It doesn't matter who's in presidency. You can change your environment. You can change your ecosystem. You can change your economy. Forget the global economy. It doesn't matter what's going on in the global economy. Your local economy and your family and your household, that's what matters most. That's what you can change. And so we want to create the right habits to do that. One of the ways we do that, and if you don't like sales, I'm going to sell my mentorship for about a minute before I jump into and give you the value of how to change your environment at the end. Is it okay that I make you stick around to the end for the good stuff? Yes. And I promise, if you're in sales, pay attention to what I do here. When I first started in real estate investing, I was broke.
Oh, shit.
I wrote a book called Broke to a Quarter Million. That broke part, I lived it. I know what it's like to make $17,000 a year. I know what it's like to make $1 million in a year. I know what it's like to pay no taxes on that $1 million. Who here would like to pay no taxes and take in $1 million? Excellent. You're smart people. I love that. So how did I do it? I didn't go to Harvard. In fact, I did go to college, but I did not finish college. But what I did do is I got something more powerful than a Harvard degree. A Harvard degree costs you about $250,000. We agree that's about the cost of a Harvard degree. And what it guarantees you, and it doesn't really give you a guarantee, but what it guarantees you is a $75,000 an hour job. A $75,000 an hour job is the average income of a Harvard student, a Harvard degree student. Does that make sense? We agree that these numbers are probably accurate, yes? Unfortunately, my degree cost me about $85,000, but it was a degree in mistake here, mistake there, hire a coach here, join a mastermind there, join a mentorship. What I'm offering is a program for 2 months, like a semester. Think of it as a semester in college, where you have 1 hour a week of committed time to make sure to show up and do the activities. And it costs $1,000. And the ROI is this: in 3 to 5 years, if you follow all the steps, you'll be a millionaire. That's the guarantee. You just have to, when I guarantee something, I have to be very clear. You have to do the homework. Does that make sense? Hands to the camera. You have to do the work. I will not hand you $1 million, but I will teach you how you can go and get it. I will teach you how you can buy investment assets that will grow for you in this market, in the inflation market that we're in. I will teach you how to leverage debt. I will teach you how to leverage assets. I have coaches in the room right now. I have Mitch Jorsky, who's the king of cryptocurrency and beginner financing for buying houses. I've got Mike Shine, who is the king of partnerships. I've got Terry Wager, who will teach you how to double your income, not just once, but every year. Terry Wager from Generator Coaching. I've got Ryan McDermott, who's a financial advisor, but not a schmuck. What Ryan is a financial advisor. Now I got to highlight you, Ryan. Sorry. He's a financial advisor who protects your money. who makes sure that your money goes further. And he may tell you, look, you need to go buy some real estate so that you can get some money for me to protect. Is that fair to say, Ryan? Yes. So if you don't have money, you got to go get it. You've got to go earn that money. And that's what this mentorship program is all about, is teaching you how to create your right environment by surrounding you with our coaches. Our coaches, you sit down with each one of us. I'm the strategy coach. I'll give you the plan for the next 3 to 5 years. If I gave you a plan, let me just pitch this to you. If I gave you a plan that if you just followed it for 3 to 5 years, consistency, and it's not hard work plan. I don't like those. Right? We know that I don't subscribe to hard work. I subscribe to right work. It's a 3 to 5 year plan, and it costs you $1,000 to sit with me for 30 minutes. But if you follow that plan, you'll be rich. Who would pay that $1,000? That's just one part of what I give. That's just one part of what we do. Then you get 30 minutes with each one of our other coaches, and they tweak the plan. They give you information. They give you tactical strategies. Then every single week, we all meet. All of the current Alchemist community meet on Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we hold you accountable. I teach a lesson. I hold you accountable to a book a week. You do have to read a book a week, but it's okay to use audio. Everybody in the Alchemist community has read the Foundational 5, yes? Hands to the camera if you've read the Foundational 5. Awesome. Those books, and we've never had somebody come through this program and not read the books. I've had non-readers come through the program and say, oh, I don't read books, but I'm going to do this. And they did it. They changed their mindset, because you know what? Getting rich is more important, because you can change your family's life. You can change your life. You can change your community. I flipped entire blocks. I've pulled out people from, I pulled drug addicts out. I've pulled drug dealers out. I've pulled prostitutes out of my properties. I've changed entire communities by going in, buying property, flipping that property, and then renting it out to good people. Does that make sense? Money can allow you to do things that are good for your community. Now, of course, money can make you a dick too, right? You could decide, well, I don't fucking like my family. I'm getting the fuck out. That's your choice. Money doesn't make you do that. It just makes you more of what you already are. Do we agree? Yes? So if you're a charitable person, you'll give more charity. If you want to build a business and you want a bigger business, you'll build a bigger business, because money does allow you to expand. So the mentorship is $1,000. Darina is on the call. Darina is somebody you can reach out to learn more about the mentorship, how it works. Darina, you want to speak just really quickly? What's the easiest way for people to get in touch with you?
Yes, thank you. The easiest way, I'm dropping the link in the chat box. So happy to answer any questions, happy to clarify any concerns, or is this really the right program for you? So I'm happy to chat, or you can text me. Text is the fastest communication, I think would be best. So yeah, thank you, Walter. It's an amazing program, really, really transforms a lot of lives. And everyone here, especially on the front page, has been through it, and only great results, especially the mindset and habits, the wealth habits that once you build them, they stick with you, they stay with you, and you use them with everything you do. Whether you build in wealth, a good relationship with spouse, a good relationship with coworkers, they're there with you, and you only can get them through consistency and being a part of the program for 8 weeks. That's more than enough time to actually build them and make them a part of your routine and thinking process. And there's a lot of going on, and I'm just super thrilled. I can go on and on that, but please text me or book a call. I'm happy to chat. Thank you.
Give Darina a round of applause. She is our connector in our community. She connects you with everybody that you might need to know. So if you're looking for a lender, an attorney, somebody who does wholesaling, finds deals, Darina does that for us. I noticed we also have Doug McGurk on here. Doug is another one of our coaches, and Doug teaches you how to speak. Many of you have a fear of speaking. Fear of speaking is right there next to the fear of death. And apparently, the fear of speaking is the #1 fear in the country. And so that means that more people are afraid of public speaking than they are of dying, which is just crazy. I wouldn't be here today if I was afraid of public speaking. Does that make sense? Now, at some point, I was afraid of it. And then I got a lot of coaches, and then I got hypnotized a bunch of times and used NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to get my head out of my ass so that I can go up there and speak and teach you guys and provide value so that you can have a better life. Who here knows that the lessons that I'm teaching today will give you value for your entire life? Yes. If we could change your environment to tweak it so it's the right space so that every single thing you do is more efficient, your entire life from here then forth is better. That makes sense. Yes. Excellent. Let me see. Yeah, that's the coaches. I did the Harvard example. We agree that Harvard is probably the lower return on investment in today's economy. Yeah. Most of the millionaires I know, no college degree. It's absolutely crazy. And the few that I do know that have a college degree are like attorneys and doctors because their degree was kind of necessary to get what they got. That makes sense? For everybody else, we made it in real estate. We did it through building really good companies, having great sales teams, having great marketing, and having environments that empower that. So we're going to pull out a piece of paper. This is the part of the lesson today where I like to give you something so you can actively do it this week. Remember I said 52 Weeks to Wealth is all about you taking action, going and having actionable steps. And if I just left you and said, hey, here's the principles, here's the wealth principles, you take your notebook and you go put it on the shelf and nothing would get done. Hands to the camera if you've ever done that before. Taking a bunch of great notes, did nothing with them. Yes? So this experience, I do this every week, is designed for you to go take action on something right now. So we're going to write down 1, 2, and 3. On a piece of paper, write the numbers 1, 2, and 3. And we'll do it quickly because successful people take action quickly. They do things fast. They think fast. They make up their minds quickly, and then they stick to them. So the numbers are on the paper. Everybody's got the numbers on the paper now, yes? Excellent. Number 1, before you write, I want you to think about one thing you could do to change your environment in your bedroom. Change your environment in your bedroom so that it's more relaxing for sleep. One idea may be remove a TV. One idea may be to eliminate any artwork that's not conducive to the life you want to create, or add artwork that would be somewhat high vision of the romantic relationship that you'd like to have, because the bedroom is a place for two things. It's a place for relaxation and love and enjoyment and peace, and it's also a place for being grateful for the future, thinking about the future and being grateful for the future, not stressed about, the bedroom's not where you plan shit. That's not where you write out your business plan. The bedroom's where you're thankful to the universe, to God, whatever your religion is, to energy. You're thankful for what is coming to you, right? In the bedroom, that's where you think at night, wow, I can't believe, like today, I'll be somewhere on the East Coast, maybe in North Carolina by the end of the day. Tomorrow, I'll be in Florida. Right. So I've been thinking about that for weeks when I go to bed, and it puts a smile on my face. Just thinking about the warm weather, the palm trees, getting rid of all the snow. And it's a shift. It's a shift from the life we're living now. Dorina, can you make sure that anybody's microphone is muted? Thank you. So the bedroom is important. And if you don't sleep in the bedroom, then you know what I'm talking about. If it's a living room, if you sleep on the couch, or if you're sleeping in your car, whatever it is, like make sure that your environment where you're sleeping is a place that allows you to be grateful for what's coming. Grateful for what's coming. Peaceful things that make you feel abundant. This is not a place to put pictures of money on the wall, though. Does that make sense? It's a place for peaceful relaxation, pictures on the wall, peaceful relaxation, or do what I've done. You can either download apps that have hypnosis on them. You can talk to Doug McGurk. He has some great hypnosis products that he's created. And Doug, can you put your information in the chat? And Terry, Terry, do you have any hypnosis that you've recorded as well? And Terry Wager as well. I would suggest getting both. I've also downloaded and I studied under Mark Usick, which Terry studied under Mark Usick as well. I have his hypnosis that I've used. Marshall Silver has some programs that he's put out. These are people that I trust their programs, because hypnosis is really, really, really sensitive stuff. It's your subconscious mind. You got to make sure that the things being said are positive at all times, that the person wants the best for you, that they had good intentions when they created it, because these things are going to be in your subconscious mind working all night. I have used Doug McGurk's. I've worked a lot with Terry on his mindset. Well, I've understood his mindset and what he does. So I know he's put so much effort into saying the right things, right, Terry, compared to, and I won't mention any names, but some of the other people you and I have studied under, you critique their words. And so Terry's words are very, very clear. Same with Doug. And actually, Terry, if you could send me some, I'd like to see what you've got going on. But I've worked with Doug, so I know personally his as well. So self-hypnosis, hypnotherapy, very valuable. If you don't trust it, just treat it like meditation. Treat it like a guided meditation. Sit there and listen to it. Listen to the words. If any of the words are things you don't want to believe in, fine, don't listen to it. Find something else. But if you get the right thing, like some of them are stopping procrastination. Who here knows that procrastination is killing you? Yeah. So self-hypnosis to stop procrastination. Great to listen to at night.
I was gonna raise my hand, but I procrastinated.
Terry, nice shirt, man. I like the 100 Millionaire shirt. We're on a mission. Let's get it done. And the mission is to build 100 millionaires who will build 100 millionaires. We just keep building wealth so that everybody around us has more wealth. Eventually, it'll probably break the system. Is that okay if we all make so much wealth that the system breaks? I agree, because the system's already broken. It's already destroying people's lives. It's already expanding the wealth gap. We just want to fill that middle class back in. You know what? A couple more years of this inflation, a millionaire may be middle class. In fact, I already think it is. I think that as a millionaire, I might sit high, upper middle class, to be perfectly honest. But I know when I look at the wealth gap and I look at what's happening, my wealth is somewhere around the top 5%. But I'm not in the 1% anymore, because 1%ers are worth 12 million. Does that make sense? Yes, because it's changing. The wealth gap is changing. It's getting worse and worse, but incomes are staying about the same. Average income in the country is $55,000. And if you're making under that, man, we got to get started. Sign up for the program. I got you. We've got to change that now. That making less than the average American means you're bringing less value to the marketplace than the average American. These are hard, cold facts. That needs to change. We agree? Yes? Excellent. That being said, go ahead, Mike.
I was just saying that 2 books, if you have that mindset that having money is bad, or that makes you a bad person, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero really addresses that. And one of the foundational 5, Science of Getting Rich. Read those 2 books and you really, there's plenty of other books too, but you really get the idea that making money can make you make the world a better place, not a worse place. Bad people do bad things, whether they're rich or poor. And that's a big block for a lot of people. So I say to everybody, I'm a money magnet proudly. So go and get it.
Mike, and then Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, I mean, really
Right.
focuses on that big time. That was the biggest thing I took away from that book, was how I looked at money and even how I looked at selling. So those are mental blocks.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I forgot that one, but yep, that's one of the foundational 5 too. Yep.
Go ahead, Terry.
In a really well-off area,
Okay,
and I thought rich people were assholes because we were not the rich people in town. We were the poor kids. And as soon as I started making money, I got rid of it as fast as I could. I would make sure that I was like buying everyone dinner. Oh, you need money for rent? Here you go. Because just don't think I'm an asshole. And I met a powerful mentor, the guy who's the money behind the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all of that. And he became my mentor. And he said, look, it is your responsibility. It is your duty to earn as much money as you possibly can, ecologically and ethically, of course, because if you don't have it, you can't help anybody. And he was very charitable, and his motivation behind it was so that he could help other people. But that other than conscious influence is tremendous. So it's got to really watch what your relationship is.
And Doug, that's so true. There's it's a bit tongue in cheek, but I saw someone posted a meme. It said, no one on welfare ever gave me a job.
Yeah.
And it's true. You help people by making money.
And what's interesting, I one of the people I thought was an asshole was my dad. because he started to make money later on. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, Dad, what's your relationship with money? Finally, when we started to get along, and he's like, well, all those golf courses that I built and all those condominium projects. He goes, I love golf, but you know how many jobs I created? You know how many people it takes to build and maintain a golf course and condominiums and all that stuff? He's like, I was providing jobs. And then I was like, oh, I feel bad.
So awesome. I just say, just as a little aside, that's the value of the coaches in this group. Like, just the gold that's being showered down by Mitch, Terry, and Doug. I'm just blessed to be a part of all of that. Oh, and Ryan as well, and Darina. I can't forget everybody. Obviously, Gwalter.
And Christine McGinley.
Right? their own window. Yeah.
That's right. So at this point, there's go ahead, Terry. Yeah, no, the coaches are on a run. I'll let you guys run a little bit longer.
Coaches on a roll.
Coaches on a roll. So two things. One of the things that Doug and Mitch were talking about is this idea that when you have a lot of money, you can help a lot of people. But the other side of that we kind of forget about is when you don't have money and you need it, you start draining resources that pulls away from society just as much. And so the social responsibility of being able to be self-supporting through your own contribution of your time, your money, your gifts that you're giving back to everyone else. And I think that's really what we're talking about here is we have a social responsibility to be at the top of our game, pulling in as much as we can so we can give it back to the communities, give it back to society, give it back to the people, and help along the way, whether it's jobs, whether it is charity, whether it's whatever it is for you. That's the big piece. The other thing that I want to talk about, really moving back to hypnosis for a minute, is a lot of people think that we're going to change ourselves. We're not changing ourselves as much as reinforcing what we really want to do, because we shift back very easy to automatic bad habits that don't work for us, or bad is probably a bad word. It's more ineffective habits, and we become ineffective, and we really become in those ruts that we're doing. And so what hypnosis really does is puts us into these automatic patterns. And when we're not using some kind of hypnosis, some kind of affirmation, some kind of reminding ourselves where we want to go, and we all do that with the audiobooks a lot. We're always listening to audiobooks, and it's because that kind of meditation helps us to refocus on where we want to go, where our own internal voice will pull us to where we go naturally, which is protecting ourselves in some way or stepping away from the greatness. And so we're in a hypnotic experience 70% of our day. And if we're not teaching ourselves how to control that experience, the world will hypnotize us into being a drain on the society. And so what we're doing with those hypnotic recordings and the reinforcements that we're doing with reading books, talking in these groups, being a part of those communities, we are reinforcing taking control of our own hypnosis to move towards where we want to go instead of being moved away from where we want to go. That's it. You're muted.
Give all the coaches a round of applause. That is 100% what all of this is about. It's reprogramming. Your brain isn't broken. It's just programmed wrong. That's all. But we can change our programming. We can change our minds. And the most powerful way you can do that is change your environment. Environment is stronger than willpower. Willpower will never beat environment. I don't care who you are. If you stay in an environment long enough, it can outlast you. It can outlast your energy. It can outlast your willpower. So if you surround yourself with the wrong people, you can't help but be one of them. But if you surround yourself with the right people, a community like this, a community that's constantly growing, surrounding coaches who are constantly growing, you become the average of your closest 5 friends. I have a Rolodex of over 100 millionaires in my phone who I could call, text, schedule an appointment, have lunch with at any given time. Does that make sense? Does that explain why I'm a multimillionaire? Because I have a ton of people in my Rolodex who are richer than me, or at least on the same level. It helps. Go ahead, Terry.
I have an equation that I love to use to really think about this idea of doing what we want to do versus getting lost. And it goes like this: imagination plus emotion is greater than willpower. We want to do something, we're focused on it, but if our imagination gets connected to our emotions and our emotions are in the fear base, we're never going to be able to do what we want to do. And so we got to get control of our emotions so that we can get in that growth mindset of where we want to go. Because every day, every minute of the day, our emotions plus our imagination is greater than our willpower. And so that's one of the biggest reasons that we focus on emotion. That's one of the biggest reasons we focus on mindset, really clearing those tracks so you can hit your goals. Otherwise, the imagination moves to fear, and then it starts telling us all of these dreaded what ifs, and we get hesitating, we stop, we procrastinate, we do all of these things. Imagination plus emotion. So we want to grab our imagination with balancing our emotion in that growth plane, and we'll move forward.
I love that. So I want to make sure that I'm respecting everybody's times. Let's give the coaches a round of applause. Some really valuable information today so far. And I want to get back to this exercise. And so the exercise, yeah, right? I know a few of you caught that. So we're going to get back to the exercise. Nobody's written anything down next to number one. Now that we've explained what number one is, the sleeping time, write just one thing you're going to change this week. Just one thing, the most powerful thing that you're going to change about your sleeping time, your bedroom, your sleeping time, that environment, that 8-hour time block. What's one thing in your bedroom that you can change that's going to improve your life going forward? Remember, get rid of distractions, get rid of things that may be negative, get rid of bad reminders. If there's something in your bedroom that makes you feel uncomfortable, or even worse, if there's nothing in your bedroom that makes you feel empowered, if there's nothing in your bedroom that gives you a feeling that you can create more, that you are creating more, that you are abundant, add something to your bedroom that makes you feel great. Does that make sense? Excellent. If you are not listening to hypnotherapy right now, that's fine. You didn't know about it. But if you aren't listening to hypnotherapy tonight, that's not fine. It's time to improve. It's time to get something that's going to work for you. There are plenty of options. Join the mentorship or reach out to any of our mentor students, anybody in here, and ask them what they're doing. And if they don't have an answer, just shoot me a text, message me on Facebook, ask me what I'm doing. Ask any of our coaches what they're doing. That makes sense? When you sign up for the mentorship, you get access to all the coaches. And those are some pretty powerful people to know. They're very knowledgeable, very informative. So one, at night or in your bedroom, that environment has to be conducive to gratitude, great thoughts, excitement, happiness, but in a peaceful state, in a peaceful manner. This is not a place where you put strong colors. This is a place where you put peaceful colors. You can look up Feng Shui, F-E-N-G. Shui is S-H-U-I or E. I'm not sure what the last one is. And look up the Bugua maps for the bedroom. And that will help you create that environment, make it a little bit more peaceful for yourself. You want to make sure you're sleeping peacefully. If you're stressed out, don't go to bed yet. Just write it all down. Just get rid of it. But don't go to the bed or your bedroom with anything other than peaceful, gratitude, thankful thoughts. So that's your bedroom. That environment is super important. Highlight that because most people forget. Most people allow their bedroom to look like hell, chaos, a mess. They store stuff there. Your bedroom is a peaceful place that's supposed to be designed for your relaxing and getting through a peaceful night, creating gratitude, thankfulness, happiness, love. Is this making sense so far? This is good. We understand that love gives you energy. When you feel love, think of somebody you love right now. We'll go through this quick exercise. When you think of somebody you love, you can close your eyes, you think about them. And now think about that feeling and make it even more intense, better and better and better and better. The person that you love, increasing that. Don't you have a little more energy right now? Just thinking of somebody you love makes you have more energy. So if we can control that environment and make it a powerful place for you, that improves everything else in your life. 2, your work environment. when it's time to work, it's time to work. It's time to make money. It's time to collect. It's time to improve the world somehow. Make sure that your work environment is clean, a clean space that allows you to operate. Depending on what your job is, that may or may not be as easy as other jobs. But when you get to your workstation, your workspace, everything around you should empower you. Everything around you should make you feel like you're about to do the best you could possibly do. Does that make sense? Yes. Your work environment should cut efficiencies. It should cut off lead time. It should cut off discomfort. When you're in your work environment, things should be easy. I'll give you an example. Oh, let me turn the green screen off here so you can see my work environment. Do you think that'd be helpful to see how I operate when I'm on stage? Yes, excellent. So let me choose the virtual background. I have a green screen, but let me turn off the green screen. Go to none. Here we go. So in my office, we have 2 cell phones, right? Sitting on a magnetic clip. I don't have to worry about that clip. I just drop it up there and they can sit. I can operate on Facebook. I can operate on Instagram. Then I have the laptop. So if I need to do something here, this is on a stand that moves back and forth. Very cool, right? Give me a round of applause for having some cool technology so far. I like it. Then we come around. I have 4 computers on this desk. This is called a KVM switch. I can switch back and forth between the different displays. So I have the same mouse and keyboard that operate in one space. Can you imagine how easy my life is if all I have to do is stay within one space and everything operates properly? Does that make sense? Super efficient, super efficient. Your background on your computer, the screen should be clean. Ron is a stickler for this. He's always telling me to clean up my background items. Who here has more than one item on it, like more than one icon on their background on their computer? Yeah, that's not good. That's not good for keeping you focused. It's a distraction. So clean up your desktop screen. Get rid of anything that you're not using. Who here opens multiple tabs on a computer? Opens more than 3 tabs at a time, more than 5 tabs at a time, more than 10 tabs at a time. So many tabs that all you see is one fucking letter on the tab. Who? Yes. All right. That's a distraction. There's no way in the world that you're using all those screens. At any given moment, my goal is 3 at tops. But I do have multiple monitors so that if I am working with multiple things, I'm not going back and forth. I'm just shifting my eyes. Does that make sense? So I operate at all time. Any one of my setups has a minimum of 3 monitors, but most of them are 4 to 5. And I have 3 setups in my house. I have one right here. I have one over there. I have one upstairs. And the reason I do that is because at any given point when creativity hits me, I want to go. Does that make sense? When something hits me, I don't need excuses. I don't, oh, it's downstairs. I got to walk down the stairs. Or, oh man, like, I just wish I had a bigger monitor right now. I can't get this done. I just bought a bit. I have a 37-inch monitor over there that makes sure that I don't ever have that excuse. Does that make sense? I had the excuse one time, never again. Went, bought it, bang, put it on the wall. I didn't like the angle it was at, bought a new hook, put it on the wall. Does that make sense? I could not figure out how to get my laptop on this desk and be able to pull the laptop over to me like this, pull it over and then put it back. And it was bothering me so much that I Googled for about 20 minutes, found it, ordered it. And for $75 and 2 weeks of waiting time, now I have 2 laptop cases. So they can both slide forward, move around, shift them wherever I want them. And instantly my life is so much easier, right? Does that make sense? The efficiency. These magnetic phone holders, who's used these before? Man, I'm a nerd. Okay, I could just go on about how all that works. Anyway, so in your work environment, write something down that's going to make your work environment more efficient. I use whiteboards. I use quick thoughts whiteboards, programs like MindMeister, cell phones. I use apps like Evernote or Zoom. Zoom is a phenomenal way to meet up with people. Or Calendly. Calendly is another great tool that you can have. Creating environments where all of those links are in one easy place. Right? So sometimes I talk to agents and I'll ask them for things and they tell me it took them 5 or 10 minutes to get me something. And I'm just like, why? Like, if I know it was going to take you that long, I would have gotten it myself, because once I get it, I put it in Evernote and I can grab those links at any time. Somebody who here's asked me for contacts in my phone before, asked me for hard money lenders, asked me for contractors. Yeah, I have them in groups and I just share my whole group. I don't give you anybody specific. I'm just like, here's 15, right? Here's 5 guys, here's 3 guys. Like it's saved so that in an instant, I can just drop and get rid of it. On to the next thing. Efficiencies. Create an environment in your phone that makes you more efficient. Create an environment in your workspace that makes you more efficient. If there are projects that you're printing that you don't need to print anymore, get rid of them. Go digital. Make sure that your workspace motivates you. Make sure it's got some motivation up there. All right. Phone time. I talked about it earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. So number 2, make sure you write something down that you're going to change in your workspace this week. Change one thing. Remove something or add something, but make it more efficient, make it better. Eliminate clutter. Write down the habit of closing those fucking tabs. Clean up that background on your desktop. Do something. It's even if it's just one of these things, it will improve your life, right? Create these habits. Members of the mentorship, how cool is this, right? You understand how Saturday works even better than everybody else because you've already been through well, basically it's 2 months of boot camp, right? So the habits that we instill in you in the mentorship, who knows it takes 30 days to create a habit? We've heard 28 days, for 21 days, 30 days. We take 2 months to instill these habits because we're not taking any chances. 2 months to instill the habits to become a millionaire. 2 months of dedication to these habits makes you successful. Now, the 52 weeks of wealth is in addition to what everybody in the mentorship gets. The 52 weeks of wealth becomes even more powerful because you understand you already have the millionaire habits that we implanted into your mind for 8 weeks. And so the 52 weeks of wealth becomes even more powerful. But with or without the mentorship, I will continue to do this for free for a time. At some point, I will charge because, of course, that's what I do with everything that starts taking up my time. I charge for it so my time becomes more valuable. Does that make sense? At some point, I will be raising money for syndication. So my education will be in a different space. I'll be doing different educations. I'll be doing education on how millionaires can invest their money. And so these beginner trainings will be done by somebody else. Does that make sense? The mentorship program will be done by somebody else. Does that make sense? So in the beginning, while I'm still doing this, get access to me, because over time I become more and more expensive, less easy to access as I'm doing bigger projects. Does that make sense? Is that okay? That my goal is a billionaire. My goal, I'm 34 years old. Why not? Right? Why not? So come with us. I want you to be with us on the journey. 3, let's go to 3. Digital space. What's one thing you're going to change on your phone that's going to motivate you or take distractions away? Even if you're just changing your home screen, just changing the icons on there and putting them to the second page. Things that distract you, move them to the second page. Things that make you money, put them on the front page. Right? If you know that, like for me, for instance, I know I earn more money when I respond to people on bigger pockets. I know I earn more money when I respond to people who are communicating through me on meetup.com. I know I earn more money when I respond to people who are communicating with me on WhatsApp and on Facebook Messenger and on LinkedIn Messenger and on Instagram Messenger. But I don't make money by looking at who's commenting on my posts. Does that make sense? So my posts, I go back and I efficiently take care of them at a different time of the day. And I go and I create content at separate times of the day. Does that make sense? So control your home screen, because only you, just like Smokey the Bear used to say, only you can prevent having a wasted life. Only you can make sure that you become a millionaire. Join the 100 millionaires, I implore you, because fuck, it's so much more fun. Life is so much more better more better. So much better when you're
Mo
helping
better.
people. More better. So at this point, I want to open it to any questions before we bring the coaches in. And the coaches, I want to have a nice session with you guys, so anybody can ask any one of us any questions. But before we do that, questions on environment, questions on the mentorship. I want to run this around so that you have the opportunity to ask us now while I'm here, because I will not be here forever. That I assure you. But while I am here, I am all yours. So open the questions. Are there any questions in the chat? Anything that people were asking?
I don't see any questions, just really good comments and really good conversation going on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys are an amazing audience. I love seeing you every single Saturday. Dave, Cordero, Greg, Melanie, Kevin, Justin, Aaron, Keith, Chris, Canola, Dan. Hey, Dan Boland's on here. Give Dan a round of applause. We got to get you back on the podcast. Brian Allenby, Christine McGinley, Kim Harvey, Ryan McGovern, Terry Wager, Raphael, Doug, Mitch, Darina, Manny, Raj, Brett, Inder, Darren. Man, okay, there's a lot of names on it. Dude, there's 56 of you. Give yourselves a round of applause for dedicating to yourself. Look, it's 52 hours a year, right? Let's be real about it. Let's write this shit down. 52 hours a year. If you can spend 52 hours in an entire year to double your income, to become a millionaire over the next 3 to 5 years, great. I think you get a better chance than anybody else, because who else do you know is spending any time on that? Go ahead, Darina.
Yeah, we just got a question from Victor. How can you break a bad habit?
Victor, jump on. What bad habit are we talking about? Because they're all different. You could replace it with a good habit, right? Like that's the easy throwaway on that one. Victor, what habits in specifically?
Let's say you want to be more productive, and maybe you're just like on social media or maybe watching TV too much. How can you break a bad habit and replace it with a good one, a more productive one?
I'll let Terry or Doug grab that one.
Well, Doug, you want to? I got some ideas. You go ahead if you want.
Start and we can tag team.
All right, we're going to tag team you. One of the things that I think a lot about and I have found is every habit also has a payoff that people are getting that they're not necessarily aware of. And so habits get created because they're doing something for us that we're not aware of. Out of our awareness, we're not paying attention to it. And so say it's biting your fingernails. Somehow that's actually relaxing you or reducing something going on inside of you that you're not aware of. Or eating potato chips. You're getting, some people talk about a dopamine hit or what, but you're getting a relaxation out of the habit that you're not necessarily aware of, but it's connected. And so that's called a secondary gain, really. And so you have this thing going on by doing it that you're not necessarily aware of, but that's what's got it locked up. So then replacing it with a good habit is good, but if you're not fixing that secondary gain, you go right back to your habit every time. And so what you got to do is understand what the habit is really, what's driving that habit, and then find something to do. Like Mike Shine was talking about, like what we talk about is helping that secondary gain, what we're getting out of the habit, and then have a new thing to do that really meets that underlying thing. Then we can reinforce that new thing and the habit can be let go of. Doug.
I love that.
Yeah, amen. That's what I was, I would be exactly the same conversation. Find out what specifically you are getting. What is the need that behavior is fulfilling? And then once you have that awareness, then you can make better choices. And you could say, oh, okay, I need a little distraction. I need a break right now. I need a stress relief, whatever that is. You could find something that would be more effective, like reading, like meditating, like doing something that is going to help further you down the path. Something is so, even like smoking, basically when you understand what you're getting out of smoking that cigarette, you could find another strategy to get that, whether it's that relaxation, whether it's getting a break, whether it's just that me time, you're just giving yourself some attention. But having that awareness is really powerful.
Absolutely. Let's give these coaches a round of applause. Doug and Terry are the mindset coaches. And Terry studied he was actually a psychological doctor, right? Dr. Terry Wager. And Doug studied under Tony Robbins, traveled the country with him. So these guys know what they're talking about. Let's give it up for the coaches again. These guys are really powerful people to have in our community. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to speak to them every day. Building wealth is important. It's important for you. It's important for us. We want to see you do well. What other questions? And Victor, did that answer your question? I want to make sure that we gave you the right response there. We can
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great.
Very good. Let's give Victor a round of applause. Great question. What other questions about environment yeah, go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I wanted to mention regarding breaking the bad habits, I had a habit of like reaching out to the phone every time. So what I'd done in the past, I put my phone next to the book. So instead of me reaching out to the phone, I would be actually reaching out to the book that I can actually read, instead of, as you mentioned, spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day on the social media. Do something productive. So that's a bad habit. Once you start reading, then you actually don't even want to use the phone anymore. So because by reading these books, you're learning so much and you're growing. So.
Wow, that's a good one. Write that down. Let's give Manny a round of applause. That's a really good one. Put your book where you normally put your phone, right? And put your phone on top of your book. And when you do that, instantly your mind will say, you know what, let me give this a try. I was looking for entertainment anywhere. Let me give this a try. And when it's something as valuable as a book, all it takes is a few results, like Manny said. And Manny's been reading some of the cool ones. He's been reading some of the books that are next level stuff, like you just read Millionaire, Debt Millionaire.
Yeah, I read the Debt Millionaire, and then I just finished reading the Tax-Free Wealth. So those are pretty powerful books. So
big shifts ahead. You've gone through the foundational 5 and moved on past the bigger books. Once you get that knowledge, it's unstoppable. You just want more. You just want more information.
Exactly. It's, as you said, it's eliminating the bad habits and then working towards the good habits. And then once you actually get involved into more reading, then you don't want to stop.
Exactly. Let's give Manny a round of applause. The more you read, the more you want to read. It helps being in an environment of people who enjoy reading. It really helps to have that environment around you. What other comments or statements or something that you learned today from this?
Can I interject real quick?
Hey, Malek. Yes, brother.
I thought that was a great idea he just posed. I found out that I was terribly abusing social media. And I found out for Facebook, you can actually set alarms. So I set alarm for 30 minutes a day. When alarm goes off, I refuse to pick it back up. I won't go back on social media.
I love that. Let's give him a round of applause. You can set those alarms on your phone to stop you from going back to social media. You can actually set timers. There's a lot of things that you can do. If you find that you're not doing it on your own, don't worry about yourself. Like I said, environment's stronger than willpower. Change your environment. Set an alarm, like Malik said. Put your phone next to a book, like Manny said. You can change your environment so that you don't have to worry about your willpower.
Actually, you can set the limits on the social media, all the apps that you use. So that's what I have done for my kids. I gave them 30 minutes on the apps that they want to use. So, they're not on it for 4 hours, 5 hours a day.
That's awesome. That's very useful for any parents. Let's give Manny a round of applause. There's a way to change the apps, set the system itself. Rachel, I see you're unmuted. You got something? Christine, you're up. Christine McGinley from Generator Coaching. For some reason, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me because I'm using Terry's mic.
Can you hear us?
There we go.
I see you now. I hear you now.
Powerful. I love that you're talking an environment in 3 different capacities, because we live in each of those capacities. I'm sure we could talk about a car, because I see lots of people driving too. But yeah, it's clearing your space so you can set your intention of what you're going to be doing. The positioning the phone instead of a book. Everything, our environment's always around us. So take a look of where you are right now and what changes, simple changes that you can make. We're always talking about that little adjustment each day gets you further along where you want to be, changes those habits into intention. And it's all in our head of what we can change physically. So it sets us up for the success we're looking for.
I love that.
Intentional is going to change your life, your vision. Pulling back into the imagination is the key to thinking bigger, to becoming the millionaire, so you can have the bigger impact, so you can change the lives around you, even with the people you haven't met yet.
I like that. Let's give Christine a round of applause. Absolutely powerful stuff. Mike, I saw your hand up. Yeah, it's good to make money. Money is good, but we can't make it. You just got to recollect it from people who've already collected it. Remember, printing money is illegal, so don't go and print your own money, but it's okay to bring more home, bring more money home. It makes you feel better knowing that if somebody asks for money, you could decide whether you're going to give it to them or not. Having decisions makes it feel really good. Mike, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of follow up with what Christine was saying, because I spend a ton of time in my car going to closings. And I was always listening to sports radio in Boston. There are 2 stations that just play sports radio all the time. So I could tell you who was the wide receiver for the Patriots, or who was injured, or all this crap that did nothing for me. And I changed that environment. So now I either listen to Audible or podcasts or something valuable. And I can't tell you how much that's changed my mindset on a minute-to-minute basis. Like if I leave this meeting and I jump in my car, I'm listening to Unfuck Yourself. Excuse the language, but that's the name of the book.
The subtle art of
no, this is called Unf Yourself. So yeah, another. Yeah. So anyways, but yeah, change your environment. I can't tell you who the Patriots players are now, but who cares?
Exactly. Not getting paid for that one. Go ahead, Mitch.
So basically what I'm hearing, Mike, is now that the Pats aren't any good, now you're listening to audibles instead. No.
It was before that. I've been doing
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years now. Yeah.
Good for you, Mike. And that's true. I mean, Mike and I have actually spoken about that once offline. I'm the same boat. I used to be a sports junkie, multiple fantasy football leagues, watching football all Sunday. And it's just like, wow, I could get a lot of things done. And there's nothing wrong with having leisure and spending some time. Like I'll watch my terrible Jets maybe, for 3 hours, and that's it. Then the rest of the day I can, add value to my life. So there's something to be said for that. Having that balance between leisure and adding quality to your life, and finding things that add quality to your life that you actually enjoy doing. So it feels like leisure. Like a lot of these books that Mike have mentioned, like they're enjoyable reads, like they're awesome. And then to kind of circle back with like the habits and things like that, I don't know if maybe it solves the root problem, but I'm a big fan of like the Tim Ferriss podcast, and he talks about kind of like that decision fatigue and like how you basically just like remove the thing. So like, like the simple example is like, even when it comes to deciding what to wear, well, nope, uniform wardrobe in my closet. I don't have to waste 5 minutes every day deciding what shirt I'm going to put on, whatever it is. So it's just kind of like eliminating certain things. And I've done that a lot, where it's just like, all right, I want this not to be a problem. And instead of like, I don't know, trying to quote unquote fix it, I just eliminated it. So I don't know. It does add value. It might not be a permanent fix. There's, I guess, different opinions on that, but it's at least a practice for some early, like, productivity hack, so to speak.
And just to add to that, the bigger pockets. if you listen to those, when I started getting away from sports radio, I was listening to Bigger Pockets podcast. I probably listened easily over 100, and they're really entertaining. So like what Mitch said, when you hear other people being successful, buying real estate or being in this area, it's just a lot of fun. And it also gives you a ton of confidence that you can go out and do it. It's no accident that after I did it, I ended up buying 5 properties in the next 12 months. So yeah, it's
It's no accident, Mike.
no accident.
So I think this was pretty valuable. Who's gotten value out of this? Hands to the camera if you've gotten value out of this. This was good information. Excellent. I am so glad we got to hang out with you. If you have any questions, anything that comes up at any time during the week, during the day, during the night, I don't really sleep. So you can message me on Facebook. I don't care if it's success related, mindset related, real estate related, Bitcoin, stocks, gold, silver. Ask me any question, any time of the day. Just never call me. Please do not call me. I am retired. I am rich. I'm happy. I love my life. But if I decide to look at my phone, I want to see one of you with one of your questions. Does that make sense? That excites me. If you have my cell phone, you can text me anytime. Anybody in the mentorship program has my cell phone. And if there's anything, any question at any point that's holding you back, slowing you down, that's stressing you out, reach out to me, shoot me a text. If I can solve it, I will. If I can find a way, I will. If there's another coach that I know is better than me in that arena, I will just shoot you along. I'll make the connection if I have to. All the coaches, we agree. We love doing this. We love adding value. We love helping you guys. So if there's anything that comes up at any time, reach out to us. If you've never reached out to me, reach out to me today. If you've never said hi to me, send me a private message and say, hey, Walter, I've been watching you. This is what I learned. Send me those messages because I also have haters. Just so we're clear, there are people out there who do not like the message that we're putting out. There are people out there who do not like that we make you responsible for your own future. There are people out there who don't like that we talk about money. And so every so often, coaches, you know what I'm talking about. Every so often we get a little beat up by society. So having you reach out to us and say, hey, thank you, I learned something today means a lot. It really does. And so that being said, I appreciate everything that all the coaches have contributed today. I appreciate the chat. I do follow these chats afterwards, although during it, I try to keep an eye on everybody's eyes, who's paying attention, who's learning, who's not. But afterwards, I do take a look at the chat. So for anybody who added value or said something positive, thank you. I appreciate you guys. And one other piece that came up while somebody was talking, while Christine was talking, was on the home screen of your computer, on your phone, if you have Pandora on there or one other streaming service, who has Pandora or uses a different streaming service? What's the other one? Spotify. Yep. So where that icon is right now, move it to the second screen, because I know it's on your first screen. Move it to the second screen. And in its place, put Audible. Go and put your Audible there. And your mind will subconsciously hit Audible. And the first time you'll be like, whoops. But then you'll be like, you know what? Why don't I let this just happen? And that's how you build that habit. Just replace a bad habit with a good habit. And before you know it, you listen to book after book after book. And before you know it, you're in my position teaching person after person after person. And before you know that, there are letters coming to you every day, people saying, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You changed my life. I have people who called me now from 5 years ago. I met them 5 years ago. I was in Denver, Colorado. Now I wasn't even speaking at the event. They just met me at the event. And they told me I changed their lives. They had to find my phone number from somebody else, but they had to call me. How cool is that? I wasn't even a speaker at the time. I just had a good conversation that changed their lives, and they're millionaires now. From one single conversation that changed and pivoted, I never saw them again. They just happened to meet somebody else who was friends with me on Facebook, and they asked for my contact information. They reached out to me because that conversation changed their lives. And who wants to know what that conversation was before we end this call? It was interesting. So they had a paid off condo, $500,000 paid off condo. And I looked right at him. I said, you like losing money? And they were like, what do you mean? because at the time I think I had $1 million worth of real estate, right? But it was all cash flowing, and they were bragging about the fact that they were making about $1,000 a month. And I told them I was making $5,000 a month, and I was like, all I did was leverage it. And what I explained was, if they sold that condo and they went and bought 4 or 5 multifamilies, they could retire now, instead of having, like, they'll still have the same equity. The money will still be there. It's just that they'll make way more money. Does that make sense? So here's what happened. She calls me up. She says, I listened to your advice. That you changed my life. But yeah, that sentence just threw me for a curve. It said, we sold a condo and then we bought a 38-unit building in Oklahoma. And that thing cash flows every single month. And now we're doing flips. And I would not be here if you hadn't, like, you took the time to talk to me. You were so real about it, so empathetic, and I like, it changed my life. And I wish he told me sooner. I wish he'd reach out to me, told me sooner, because sometimes we have those days where the haters are like, man, like money isn't that easy. Money's evil. You're greedy. Like, why you earn all this money? Or good people don't earn money like that. You have to have cheated somebody to make that money. You have to have done a bad deal or taken advantage of somebody to make that money. And I've been very clear in every coaching, every training, every deal I've ever done. If I don't see a win-win-win-win on everything, I just won't fucking do it. I've got better things to do in my life. I've got other people I can help. I got wins to create. Does that make sense? You won't get rich if you don't do things right. You won't get rich if you don't do things morally, ethically, honestly, and with an intention to improve other people's lives. That's the only way to get wealthy, to get rich, to build an empire. You've got to add value. You've got to improve somebody's life so much so that they're willing to pay you. And if you can do it over and over and over, you can build an empire. If you just want to make a little bit of money, sure, you could go rob a bank, but you might spend a lot of time in jail. Or if you want to make a lot of money, you build a business around helping people, build a business around helping people get rich. You want to get really rich? Make people rich, right? You want to get really rich? Surround yourself with millionaires. You want to get even richer? Build millionaires. Go out and do what we're doing. Build 100 millionaires. Once you've built 100 millionaires, just like the elephant, you never forget who built you. Does that make sense? Excellent. So I hope that inspires you to go out, join the 100 millionaires, join our community, add value. Please do message me, message the coaches, tell us how awesome we are. We do love it. If you gain something, gain some value, just shoot us a little love letter, right? Just, hey, thank you so much. This was the big takeaway today. Cheers to your success. I'm on my way to Tampa. I'm going to go spend the rest of this winter in warm weather. If you're already in Florida, hit me up, message us. We'll make sure we do a meetup down there. And if you're in other places in the country, when COVID does end, I promise we are going to do the Alchemist 3-day event where we're going to have get the money, get the deal, build the team, and we're going to teach you how to raise all the capital you could ever desire. We're going to teach you how to find all the deals you could ever want. And we're going to teach you how to do it all without doing any work whatsoever. If you've already joined up in the mentorship, you've already paid for it. So you're going. It's a 3-day event. I don't know when or where we'll be allowed to do it, but I refuse to do that 3-day event online. I will continue to do, really powerful events. I'll continue to do daily, like 1-day events, maybe breaking them up a little bit. But the 3-day event is a really powerful event. It is so much fun. Who here has been to my live events before? Seen me live, done some of them before? Excellent. They were a blast. I'm just so much better in person. I'll be real with you.
Florida is allowing stuff to happen down here. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying Florida rocks, and you'll be here.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a possible goal. I mean, based on my experience out last night, you would think there was no pandemic ever. So you might be able to get away with a lot more.
We're holding networking events. Like I do 3 or 4 a month now.
This is pretty good news. So we may bump that up. So the goal was to have it sometime in March of next year. So we may do it in Florida. If by all standards, we'll see what the presidency says, right? Like, that's the one thing I will talk about politics. I do think that Biden gets in, COVID dies tomorrow. So we'll see.
I don't know. I hope so. I'm afraid it might be the opposite.
You think so, Doug?
Yeah.
And this is why politics just doesn't make sense. There's no way for me to get paid from this conversation. So
yeah, we just got to keep pressing on either way.
I love it.
It looks like
So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please go take action on the things you learned just now. Go kiss your kids, spend time with your spouse, make sure that they feel loved, make sure that they're understanding that the time you took to do this with us was important time for them as well, that they're gaining somehow when you do these trainings. Does that make sense? Make sure that your entire environment is supportive of your growth, your entire environment, including your family. They're right there no matter what all the time. If you can get them on board with what you're building, with what you're doing, you can go even faster. And plus, you want to take them there with you anyway. You want them wealthy. You want them doing well. So go hug, kiss, share some love with somebody that you care about. If you can't get in touch with them, shoot them a text, give them a call. Change your environment. Make sure your environment is powerful. Do one of the 3 things on your paper. Do it today. Do it within the next hour if you can. If it's small enough stuff, go change it. Cheers to your success when you have a choice. Always work with the best. Enjoy your weekend.
Always work with the best.
Work with the best.